This is a question people have been trying to answer for a very long time. The Romans thought it would happen in 634 BC based on a number 12 eagles had revealed to their legendary founder Romulus. Hippolytus of Rome said it would be 500 AD based on some formula he derived from the dimensions of Noah's Ark. Pope Sylvester II said it would be 1000 AD at the close of the millennium. Martin Luther said it would be no longer or later than 1600. Billy Graham once said it would be in the 1950s. And everyone thought the Y2K bug would crash computers and cause catastrophes that would destroy civilization as we know. Some people tell us that we only have 12 years left because of global warming, others 11. Some people interpreted the Mayan kings as saying it would be December 21st, 2012. Warren Jeffs, the leader of an offshoot fundamentalist Mormon sect, said December 23rd, 2012, and when that didn't happen, he shifted it a week to December 31st, 2012. Norse mythology, Sir Isaac Newton, Judaism, Christianity say it's still coming. So, when will the end of the world be? That's the big question. And it's the 33rd Sunday in ordinary time, and the church is coming to the end of our liturgical year as well. Next week is the Solemnity of Christ the King, which finishes off the Sundays and the season of ordinary time, and then it's on to a new liturgical year, the beginning of Advent. And for these next 2 weeks, the church is using this theme of the end of times to mirror a greater mystery, the end of history. Well, let's be candid, this sort of thing intrigues us. We're interested. Movies are made about catastrophes, natural disasters, and the end of the world. It sells. We usually think, as Christians, about angels and judgments and all the things that come with it. But the big question is the same one that it was in Jesus' time. When will the end come? And today, Jesus gives us a few signs, saying there will be wars and famines. The book of Revelation tells us there will be an Antichrist. The book of Malachi that we had for our first reading says it will be a day that will blaze like an oven. And all of these are signs of the end times. But here's the thing. We've already had wars and famines for the past 2,000 years. There always seem to be people in every generation who blatantly stand out as antichrists, whether it be Hitler, Stalin, or whoever. And of course, every single summer in Colombia feels like a blazing oven, or as some have suggested, hell itself. However, I can't tell you that I'm personally able to make the comparison. That was supposed to be funny, but some of you probably think I can, which is a bad thing for me. What I would suggest is that we're missing the point if we're seeking a sign or a date for the end times. The second coming of Jesus, the end of the world, transcends the logic of human history. We don't know when, how, or why Jesus will come. A little bit more on the latter we can guess. And we can't figure out a date, nor should we. The point is that it will come and is coming, and we are called to prepare. Now, we don't prepare by building bomb shelters or stocking up on bread and milk, but in hopeful anticipation. Sometimes in theological terms we use the Greek word parousia to describe the end times. But this word literally means the welcoming or grand arrival of an important guest. And that's how we are called to approach the end, with hope and welcoming of the coming of Christ. Now, with the recurrent success of Clemson and with one exception, my own alma mater, Penn State, I'm beginning to get fired up about the coming bowl games, which makes for a nice analogy to our lesson today. And I shared this with Father Fremel, who got a bit disgusted with me. He said, "You don't like sports." I said, "I don't like sports as much as you do." He missed the subtlety of my conversation. Now, there is some tendency in our culture to avoid thinking of the last things, the great truths, like death and judgment. We're simply told to enjoy ourselves while we can and not to worry about the bigger picture. But in reality, the view of the end is completely backwards. It would be like telling the best players to enjoy simply sitting on the sidelines of a great football game. Enjoy some Gatorade, stretch out, relax. A good player says, "No way, I want to be in the game." A good football player enjoys the game by playing hard and doing his best to win. He knows the fourth quarter is right around the corner, the clock is ticking, and the time will soon run out on the clock. And when it does, he's going to make his way back to the locker room, bruised, sweaty, exhausted, and he wants three things. First, obviously, a good shower. But more important, he wants to know, hopefully he won the game, and that he pushed himself as hard as possible to play his part in that win. The lesson of the gospel is that our lives are similar. Yes, they will come to an end someday. The clock is ticking, and the fourth quarter is on the way. But there's also a big difference. A football player can give his all and still lose. He can be satisfied with his performance, but still disappointed with the outcome. But we as Christians must play to win. If we give our all and all the time we have, spending our lives fighting to be more like Christ each day, in spite of hardship, suffering, persecution, opposition, enemies, then victory and satisfaction are assured. This morning, as we continue in this Mass, we, like the Church, are mindful that the end times will come. But we come to the Eucharist striving to give our all, to prepare to hope, and to imitate the love of Christ each and every day. As we receive the Eucharist, the foretaste of the kingdom of heaven, let us receive what we need to be holy in this life and to live with God in the next.